Hey everybody, it's Tessa from Meyer Hatchery. Now, when you're going out to your coop and you are collecting your eggs, if you ever find yourself in a position to where you have more eggs than you need, it might be time to start selling your eggs. So today we're going to talk about how to prepare to sell your eggs from home and make sure you're doing it right. So the very first thing that you want to do is make sure that in your city or township or area, you are able to sell eggs by the roadside. Where I am here in Michigan, it's legal for me to sell under cottage law. So check with your local jurisdictions to make sure that you are able to sell from your home and see what stipulations your city or state might have. Some states will require that your eggs are washed and refrigerated. Some have no restrictions at all. So for me, even though there are no restrictions on eggs, I wash my eggs and refrigerate them because a lot of my customers feel more comfortable with washed and cold eggs because it reminds them at the store. But know your area, again, whether or not your customers are going to want eggs that are shelf stable that can sit on the counter, or if they would want them to be refrigerated. A good way of doing that is to drive around, see what other places are selling their eggs for and how they're selling them. If you see a lot of coolers, chances are that customer base wants you to have them cool. So if you are cleaning your eggs for your customers, you're going to be removing the bloom when you wash them. So you need to make sure that you get all of the debris off your eggs before you can put them in for your customers. So I've got some eggs here that I've collected, but how did I know whether or not it was time to sell? Well, that's because I know how many eggs my family eats per day, and I know how many eggs get laid per day in my coop. So if my family goes through approximately 10 eggs a day, and I'm getting about 35 eggs a day from my hens, I have about 15 eggs to spare, or about a dozen each day that I can sell. So know how many you're gonna have before you put it out there on social media or however you're going to promote your eggs. So once you get them washed and ready, you have to decide how you're going to present your eggs. Having people collect egg cartons for you is a great cost savings. But if you're starting your own business, it may be worthwhile to buy your own blank cartons so that you can design them with your farm or business name. Sometimes customers really like that extra touch. So I do a combination because it helps keep my costs down, but also satisfies people who are looking for a really unique experience. So once you get that all up, you have to set your prices, in which case the best is to drive around and see what other people in the area are paying for eggs, or go into your local supermarket and see how much organic free-range eggs are selling for. That's a good baseline of how much your customers would be willing to pay for their eggs. The next thing is that you need some way to keep them cool or secure. So if you need a cooler system, you can build one yourself or you can purchase one. But you can also build yourself a stand to sell your eggs as long as they're out of the sun. Make sure everything is not going to be getting the sun blasted on it all day. I've got my sign out front of how much my eggs are for, which you can check out in another video when I made that for my coop. So my eggs are $4 a dozen. I've got my cooler stocked, and I also have a cash box. So that's the last step that you have to take when you're thinking about selling your eggs, is how are people going to pay you? So I have a cash box installed, and this is up by my home so that I can make sure that it's secure. I have seen roadside stands with the cash box down by the road, but you do put yourself at risk if you're having it farther away from a place that you can see everything at. So if you're going to accept more than cash, you're gonna have to set something up through your bank or through a secondary payment system, something like PayPal or Venmo, Cash App. All of those will have a way for you to scan a QR code so that your customers can pay you electronically as well. And at my stand, I have a QR code taped right to the top of my box. So if somebody comes up here and they only had $4, but they decide they want to buy 3 dozen, they can do that by sending me money straight through their bank. Always make sure that you're putting your eggs out when they're freshest. And you can always let your customers know through social media what to expect with your eggs. Because there's one last thing that you want to take into consideration. If you have a rooster, make sure you're candling your eggs so that your customers don't find a surprise that they were not expecting. especially in the summertime when heat is up in the 90s or even close to 100. Eggs can start to become hatching eggs pretty quickly if you have a rooster. So make sure that you're doing that for your customers before setting out your eggs. It's a really great way to earn some extra money and help you buy the feed that you love to give for your babies. If you have any questions about how to get started in your egg business, be sure to check us out on MeyerHatchery.com. And did you know that by just watching this video, you can get $5 off your next order? Heck, that's like a whole chicken. So be sure to check out the code below, use it on your next order, and we'll see you around. Have a great day, everybody.